Hello, my name is Tom Elliott. I'm currently in Shropshire in my van because outside of my van it's utter chaos. I'm a plumber by trade. I also teach freediving and a variety of other things. Relatively recently, I'm branching out into consultancy. I've written a bunch of questions on here just to keep me down the straight and narrow, because if I don't, I will waffle, and nobody wants that. Well, maybe some of you want that. Problems that I was experiencing before ELA, and how this has impacted my life. So my self-development journey to this point started, or at least its improvement started about a year ago when I signed up to LMA. The point at which I did that, I'd reached a, a sort of a self-sabotaging high, which is basically the bottom end of a decline, which you're all about to learn about. And what had happened, I'd self-sabotaged myself in my career by basically not thinking of my self-worth. So I would deliberately not take calls, deliberately not get back to people. I say deliberately, it's my survival brain would just create excuses to not do it. It's like, I'm already too busy, or I'm too tired, or I need to go shopping, or I need to see a friend, which I usually didn't go to because of course I'd sabotage that as well. So they reached a point where I would have consecutive days of no work that I deliberately scheduled nothing, and it would reach a point where I wouldn't get out of bed till midday. And on one of those mornings, I thought, I need to do something. Something switched. My depression. I would use that word. I just wasn't getting up. I had no motivation to do anything. It was horrendous. Anyway, so I started messing with my phone like everybody does, and went on Facebook, and there was this advert, one of Tim Hand's adverts, and that started my journey. So self-belief, self-sabotaging, procrastination on a scale that, I mean, when you procrastinate getting out of bed, I can't even remember the reasons why and how. Yeah, that person's dead, man. So yeah, there's some of the problems and how they impacted my life. How has the course helped me solve these problems? How? Wow. So much. So the biggest one, I think, is probably, and I'm going to touch on this later, because I read these questions beforehand, trying to think of answers, and I gave up after about half an hour trying to write things down, because that's not me. Awareness in the triggers that spark those behaviors. Like procrastination is useful, but it's actually a result of other problems. Procrastination is just a symptom of other things, and being aware of when those behaviors are starting to come out, knowing why they're happening, you can kill it before it even enters your mind. And I'm getting better at that. I mean, I've been practicing that for quite a while, but these things take time. But yeah, understanding why I used to behave and do things, and I mean, you don't even have to understand the why. You're just aware of it. You can do something to counter it, and it takes practice, it takes time, but having the tools to do that, that's what ELA has done. It's given me the knowledge, it's given me new ideas, tools, and awareness. Awareness is the biggest thing, because without that, you can't really do anything if you don't know there's a problem, right? What have been some of the benefits you have experienced as a result of going through ELA? The awareness. In addition to that, I think more self-belief and the realization that everyone's got problems. It's like, if someone says they don't have a problem, that's their problem. I mean, these are my own opinions that I've just sort of building constantly and readdressing, and they're changing all the time as well, which is really confusing. But understanding that there's something wrong with everybody. You're not alone. Being aware that you can fix pretty much anything, but you got to get started. And I left it, I think, too late. I think because I'm ex-army, and when I left, I did nothing for 2 years. I mean, when I say nothing, I mean I didn't work. I just didn't do anything worthwhile. That when I did it, I thought, oh, this is a good idea. I just sort of fell into things. And even if you fall into something that is like worthwhile, if it's not what you need to be doing, even if it's something worthwhile that maybe somebody else would do and feel, fulfilled by it, then you probably want to correct that course. I'm starting to waffle and not make any sense. Right, focus. I've had a really good day, so that's why, I'm all over the place today. It's great. What are some of the benefits? Have I already said that? Oh, I don't know. What made me feel the most happiest about ELA? Do you know what? I'm going to have a look at my notes because I brought them in here. I wasn't going to look at them, but I'm going to think of random things now, and it's not going to be... Oh, yeah. That's right. Beliefs. Awareness and beliefs. So when I started ELA, I thought, okay, this is going to be good. This is going to concrete everything that I know. It didn't, because I've got more questions, but they're only questions that I can answer, and I'm going to need time to do it. But things like being aware of some of my thought patterns and processes I go through when I come across a problem. Like one of my biggest issues is when I started, I'm what we call a paper pass. So what I did is I did my gas first, my gas engineering first, and my intention was to just do gas safety records, services maybe, and I was going to focus on that. The problem with that is without a solid understanding of central heating systems as a whole and how they work, you're going to at some point come across a problem that you can't really work on. So I had to branch out, and the problem is I was already in a position where I couldn't stop working. I couldn't go back to school, college, or whatever, or do any kind of full-time education. I had to work. I was forced to. So I had to learn on the fly. And the problem with that is the ultimate fake it till you make it, which is a good plan. But if you come across something where you're not equipped to deal with it, it can lead to other issues. Especially where central heating is concerned. So I had to learn fast, which meant I had to pick and choose. So I spent a lot of my time learning on the job, which worked all right for me. I obviously managed it without too much trouble. And if I screwed up, I'd fix it. I'd just find a way. I'd get the right people, and you just make it happen, because there wasn't much choice. And when you haven't got much choice, you make it happen, regardless of what it is. If you're forced to put in 100%, you will put in 100%. Lack of choice does that to you, and that's what happened to me. The other problem with that is if you're completely self-taught, you never fully know what it is you don't know, and that doesn't give you a great sense of self-confidence. What I learned on ELA, which is of equal importance to being aware of where your triggers are coming and how to kick them to the curb, is understanding that everyone has faults, and so what? You find it, you fix it, and that's what I've done. And now it's weird because I don't get stressed very easily. Like before, I would come across a problem and I'd be just like, oh my god, what am I going to do? I'm not equipped. I don't have the skills. I don't have the confidence. I don't have the backup, because I'm a one-man band. If something goes wrong, I got to deal with it. But now you just take a condor moment. You just sit back and think, okay, what's the scenario? What's the situation? What can I do about it now? Who do I know that can help me out? There's so many different ways of getting around almost any problem, and the intangible benefits of ELA, which no one really talks about, is that every little bit that you learn sort of adds on to the toolbox that you have to draw from. I'm trying to think of random examples, because I'm thinking like during the day, I'll be working and then something will happen, like a trigger that I wasn't expecting. I'll think of an example. That's right. I'll be doing something that I'm not entirely sure about, and the customer will walk in or start watching me. So now I've got to perform something that I'm experimenting with on a piece of kit that I'm not familiar with. I know roughly what I should be doing, and don't get me wrong, I'm qualified, I'm safe, okay, but I've now got to perform. So what I'll do is I'll strike up a conversation, and I'll be there for an extra 20 minutes just chatting. I'll stop doing what I'm doing, and that simple chat will build up relationships with the customer, give me a better understanding of his problems, relax me out, gives my unconscious mind time to work on the problem. And it's things like that that I've learned to do that really does makes me more rounded as a person. I come across a problem, I don't just go, ah crap, I've got a problem, I've got to fix it. I come across a problem now and I'm like, okay, I'll fix it, but do you know what I'll do? I'll fix it, but I'll work on something else, and because it doesn't really matter, because it's all, you know, nothing really matters. I'm waffling again. Right. I hope that answers that question. What's the main reason you'd recommend ELA to others, and why? The main reason. Okay, so ELA, LMA, all the courses from Success Insider that I've done, started, and they are lessons for life. It doesn't matter who you are. You could be, you know, think of someone, insert famous person that you like. It doesn't matter who you are, you're going to get something from this course. The chances are you're going to get a lot from this course. And there is no way you are going to do ELA, take everything out of ELA, and become, you know, what you will then realize is the thing you need to become to fix the problems that you have. Because if you're watching this, I'm assuming you're into personal development. I am now. You're gonna get a lot. The problem is you have to put in equal effort. The course does not give you, it gives you loads of information, but unless you actually desire it wholeheartedly, it's not gonna give you as much. Now I mean I'm talking from a point of like I experienced this. So the desire to do something is not the same as being desperate enough to want to do it. And that was where I came from. I came from a position of desperation, and this is actually hit. Tim talks about this on ELA. In fact, he talks about it on LMA as well. Coming from a position of desperation, you're coming from a position of lack. You're coming from not a strong. It's like playing a game of poker against a bunch of players with stronger hands, and you know you have a weak hand. Chances are you're not going to play well, even if you're an expert poker. Poker's probably not a good example because there's probably people that don't play poker, but coming from a position of negativity, you are not ever going to get something positive out of that experience. You might get more information. You might get a really expensive notebook, which I have loads of. I wonder if I could start. Anyway, you're not going to get as much out of it. And I've been talking for 30 minutes. This isn't good. The best thing to do is just get started and know that. I mean, our ELA was 6 months. It was a 6-month long process. I've managed to take a lot of lessons from it, but I'm going to have to lock myself into lifelong accountability, because there is the fear of falling back into what I was into that guy is, I mean, I'm tearing up now with the fear of knowing what kind of a loss that would be of time, my life. It can't happen. And the positivity moving forwards, it's like everyone's going to get that from ELA. I mean, there's probably other things, you know, there's other ways. You read all your self-development books. ELA is about taking all this knowledge that you get from all the self-development books, you know, and trolling multiple YouTube videos, which I did. I mean, I've got really bad eyes from the amount of bloody YouTube videos I watched about personal development. Without actually internalizing it, turning it into action every day, all the time, it's useless information. It's, in Tim's words, data for later. You without actually turning it into something practical that you can apply and do, it's worth nothing. you know, it's a waste of your time. So if you're going to do ELA, and you should, because it's A's, be prepared to put in a lot of effort, more than you think, hours, every day. Because then, I mean, the more effort you put in, the more you're going to get out of it. Literally, you cannot put enough effort in. There is enough information that even if you worked on it for, I'm about to get interrupted by my mum. No, I'm not. Even if you put in all, like, you worked on it full time, I still don't think you could, well, actually, no. Do you know what? That would actually be pretty amazing. If you took 6 months, took all the time off and you just worked on it full on, that would be insane. Chances are that you ain't got time to do that. But if you could, that probably still wouldn't be enough time. This is a lifelong thing you got to keep working on. It's ace because you've bought something, that you've subscribed to something that is going to live with you indefinitely, and you're going to be able to work on it every day. Yeah. I'm quite. I just want to get on with it now and go do some. Right, yeah, that's it. Do it because it's cool, and you really want to. Sweet. Thanks for listening to my quarter of an hour. Hell, I'm late for dinner. See you later.